Get ready, podcast! So welcome to this episode of Kony's podcast. I'm Pao. My Twitter handle is iKON-Picfix.
My name is Dane. My Twitter handle is iKON-Fastfiction. So this episode of the podcast is a little different from what we've had before. As longtime fangirls, we've come to learn from experience that fangirling isn't all fun and rainbows.
Yep.
And we've had to come to terms with difficult issues as well. And so we've had to process kind of these feelings several times over in the past. And we had really intended to make an episode about this before, but decided against it then. But in line of recent events lately, we feel that it's maybe relevant to do it now, which is why we're recording this.
Yep.
I guess to clarify, in a lot of ways, we're doing this for ourselves.
I think mostly for ourselves talaga.
Yeah, so we're hoping it'll be therapeutic. But hopefully, in sharing this, it can also help others, you who's listening to this in this difficult time. We are recording this on June 15, 2019 on a Saturday. So I guess, but if you're not ready to hear sort of anyone talk about the events that happened over the last week, and also some major K-pop events that were not pleasant that also happened in the last couple of years, which we will touch upon, it might be best not to listen to this episode. You know, we want to help, not to hurt. And so if you think that listening to something like this might trigger you more, you know, we suggest that you stop this podcast. We have a few more episodes that are more fun, more light in nature. So yeah, maybe it would be better to sort of refer to those. Another thing that we have to note is we are not trained professionals in medicine. Whatever we talk about in this podcast are all our personal opinions and perspectives based from our experiences. So, you know, don't take this as anything based on sort of anything other than that. And if you do need help, please do seek the help of a medical professional. We're gonna put some useful links in the show notes for this episode. That sounds kind of vague unless you are aware of what's happened in the last week, but I guess to just sort of put the information out there, that's clear. I think, Pao, you're gonna talk about what's happened.
Okay, so am I ready to talk about what happened?
Yeah.
So, just to give you a little background, last June 12, there was shocking news about our beloved iKON leader, which is Kim Hanbin. Dispatch reported that there's allegedly an attempted purchase of illegal drugs. There were Kakao Talk messages. These are also alleged Kakao Talk messages released in Korean, but some of our co-iconics also translated the messages.
The chat logs were from 2016, by the way. So it's from 3 years ago.
Right. And then from that span of time, the news actually, you know, ang bilis nung events. The events were really very fast. After the release of the messages, YG Entertainment immediately issued a statement denying the story. YG even said that they really managed the drug use of their artist. We don't want to give any color on that statement.
So that's in quotes.
Yeah,
is what
in
they said.
quotes. Yeah, we do have some news articles that would actually be really strong in terms of what their opinions are, but we don't want to touch that. We just want to give you a run through of the chronological events, and then it stated, and I quote, "BI has nothing to do with it, of the alleged 2016 drug case, because every 2 months, YG purchases a drug diagnostic kit from the US and performs drug tests on all artists. And during that time, they said that BI submitted the test, and they said that in iKON, there wasn't anyone who tested positive. So, meaning they all are negative of drug use. And then a couple of hours later, Hanbin posted an announcement in his Instagram, and it was in Hangul. So some of the fans who does translations were kind enough to translate what he said, and we tried to look for at least the nearest translation. And in his statement, he said that he was sorry for his inappropriate doings and that he was tempted to rely on such things due to the hardship and stress, and that he didn't give in because he was scared of it. And then he apologized, and he said that he was embarrassed to the fans and to the iKON members who must have been disappointed and hurt with what's happening. And then he mentioned that he wants to leave the group, to fully look back and reflect on his actions. And then he apologized once more. After a couple of hours, again, YG confirmed that Hanbin is departing from iKON and that his contract in YG Entertainment is terminated. And so that's basically day one.
Yeah.
A lot of things that happened, and I'm pretty sure that some of our fellow iconics were really shocked, and maybe they felt like, like ako, I felt like it was such a TMI for me also. And then, of course, just like in any other scandal, there's another report the day after. Because in the Kakao Talk, they said that he was conversing with A. The following day, A's identity is revealed.
Yeah.
So that's basically the big news for day 2.
Yeah.
And then for day 3, which is just yesterday, June 14, it was also revealed that there's an involvement of Lee Sung-hoon from Winner. A news outlet released also a Kakao Talk. Basically, they said that it's a secret message option in Kakao Talk, confirming that Lee Sung-hoon conversed with A if A really met Hanbin.
Asking about what happened.
Yeah, asking about if there's really something going on. But yeah, we don't know anything much about it because
that's all. That was
the only
released.
report that,
so we're
that
just
we got.
going with that. Yeah.
And then YG released a statement that he's stepping down. I think this is the big news for day 3.
That day.
That he was stepping down from his position in YG Entertainment. We all know that YG is not the only yang in the company. So the next expectation is that the brother of YG will be stepping up. But then again, Yang Min-suk, who's the brother of YG, also released a statement that he's also stepping down from his position in YG Entertainment. So that's basically the 3 big days for the Iconics. And then today's day 4. So far, at least
June
as of recording this episode, there's no news.
Yeah.
I was telling Dane that, so does that mean like no news is good news? We don't know. So it's pretty quiet right now in the fandom. So Dane, given the events, should I say like, is this a stressful event for us? It is, I think.
How did you feel when the news broke? And it had to be on a holiday. So
yeah, it had to be on a holiday here in the Philippines.
Yeah, in the Philippines.
I was telling Dane that it was really mixed emotions for me. I didn't know how to react, but mostly at first I felt angry and I couldn't explain why exactly I was angry. I just know that I was. That's how I feel. And then I think at some point I was also in denial because iKON's career is just starting.
Yeah.
It hasn't even been 5 years, right?
No, not yet.
See? So, but it's too early for such big scandal.
Yeah.
And on the first day, on June 12, when I was seeing all the reports and then all the mixed reactions also of the fans, and also there are some news outlets also that, medyo clickbait yung headlines nila. I just felt like I had to tap out Stan Twitter.
Correct.
So I think I tweeted about that, like, okay, hashtag tap out.
And even you and I did not chat so much that day.
So
because, you just need space sometimes.
Well, at least my initial reaction after tapping out is to transfer to my other account, my other Twitter account. And for some reason, which I will explain later, I had to confide with my Shawol friend. So you're not foreign naman that I am a Shawol also. So I had to talk to them. And I guess the reason behind that is that I need to process the anger that I was feeling. Because I was so clueless also. Dane was actually asking me like, are you angry at Hanbin?
Like, who are you angry at?
Yeah.
What are you angry at?
I couldn't even answer that.
Yeah.
So, so that's my initial
Maybe
reaction.
I shouldn't have asked, honestly.
No, but
triggering.
Yeah, but actually that's how I reacted when the news broke out.
So for me, like I was having it was gonna be a really good holiday, supposedly. I mean, the day, like even as an iconic, like the day before, Yunhyeong and Chanwoo were on a V Live, which was like the cutest, most adorable thing. It was so fun. And I was really looking forward to a super chill holiday. I was with family. I was making avocado toast.
Wow.
Which I love. So I was away from my phone for a while because I was making avocado toast. And then when I checked my phone, there was all this sort of allegations and the chat had been released. I was really shocked. I mean, I think similar to you, Pao, I was like, what is happening? You know, things were going so well. There's so many things that are planned for the group. Like, why is this coming up? It was from 3 years ago. So generally, I was annoyed at first after the shock of it, just because they were doing so well. There were so many plans. Why is this being brought up now? Like, I just didn't understand why it was relevant. And it wasn't also clear to me, like, what is the issue ba? Parang all I saw were the chat logs, and he was inquiring, but there was no. And another thing is it even real, the chat logs? I mean, it was released by a news unit, like a website. It wasn't from the police or anything.
Well, they did say that the chat logs were from dispatch.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't from like the authorities.
Yes.
So there was a lot of questions that were unanswered. So I also wasn't inclined to believe it at first.
Yeah, there were fans who were saying that it's just a rumor. Since, it's not even coming from someone who's legit.
Yeah. So there was a lot of like speculation, a lot of denial. But then even at that time, I was also already thinking in my head, okay, so I don't want to believe it. I don't think it's true, but what if it is? And I did ask myself that, how would I react? Yeah, like how would I feel? And I think even at that time, I had made up my mind of what I would, how I would react in the event that it was true. And so I had kind of made my decision already, thinking about what could be the worst case scenario. So coming to terms with how I would react did give me some form of relief, but at the same time, it didn't make me any less scared of, okay, what might come next. I mean, having been a fangirl for a while, we know how something like this can be extended sort of by the news, by the media. They just want to look at different, all possible angles. And so I knew that there would be more news coming out, and I worried about that. And I also didn't honestly want to see all those, reports or speculations, because I just didn't know how beneficial it could be. In fact, for me, it would have been detrimental to sort of my mental health to sort of be embroiled in all of this. And so, which is why, after coming to terms personally on how I would react to the situation if it were proven true, I just decided not to check sort of my feed on Twitter, but I stayed on in DMs with sort of a few mutuals that I was already talking to anyway prior to that, and also spoke to friends like with PD Nim and Pao on group chat. It didn't feel like it was the end of the world.
Yeah,
we're gonna give you context as to why I think. I mean, we do feel that it was a big blow. I admit that. Like, it's horrible news. You don't want to hear that about your favorite group. But I think the way we handled it was because we had gone through something similar and something worse as fangirls. And I think in a way, you never prepared for things like this. Yeah. But it did sort of equip us with a little bit more sort of, I guess, strength. As I say this, honestly, I also don't know if I'm just in denial. Like, part of me is scared. Like, I mean, why am I not as maybe broken as, the tweets that I see on Twitter?
I think I was the one who's more shaken up, I guess. But I was telling Dean that, I was shaken up, but I think I bounced back faster. Yeah, because of the things that we have gone through in the fangirling life also. So to that point, we just want context. Yeah, we have context on why we reacted that way. And we also feel for our fellow iconics who are actually still grieving until now.
It's totally understandable.
You have all the right to feel that way. Yeah. Your emotions are very well validated. Yeah. And you don't have to feel sorry for acting up. You're not acting up, to be honest. It's legit what you're feeling. We're very understandable on that.
Yeah, like don't let anyone sort of devalue or say that your feelings aren't valid. Yes. Because to be honest, so this obviously, as I said, this isn't the first time that we've come upon an issue like this with an idol that we like and we support them. And I remember maybe like the first few times that it happened, with the other groups that we used to stan, I remember thinking, gosh, why am I so affected? I mean, like, I don't know this person personally.
Yeah.
He lives a million sort of miles away. Well, not a million, maybe 1,000. But I shouldn't be this affected. But I was. And honestly, it took me a while also to sort of come to terms with that. You know what? I mean, yes, it's not real. It's not part of my real life. But it doesn't mean you can't have real feelings about it. I think after overcoming that already from before, so that's something I didn't have to deal with in this situation with iKON, because I already knew that whatever I felt would be valid. I wouldn't feel bad about it. I'm not embarrassed to feel bad about it because they are valid feelings.
So in our fangirling life, I guess like we mentioned, we have experienced different things, and so I think we should mention what we have gone through. We are not like new to
Definitely not
scandals.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean,
we're like fangirl dinosaurs. We've been here a while.
Hindi naman kami first gen. Hindi naman kami Hallyu level.
Hindi naman.
But I think it's safe to mention that we're actually the second generation idol fangirls.
Yeah.
Well, for Dane,
I mean, I started 2009, so it's been 10 years.
I think I started 2011.
Yeah.
2011, 2012.
Yeah.
The first time that I fangirled with Dane,
yeah.
the K-pop fan group.
And PDNIM.
And PDNIM is with EXO, right? So we all know that, of course, the EXO
and we were there
fandom.
for, I mean, we came in about Growl era.
Yeah, the Growl era. Or maybe pre-Growl, but
like we weren't, we weren't
approaching.
invested. We got invested. Growl era, moving from that. So,
and I remember I stan EXO-M first.
Yeah.
And then PDNIM and then stan EXO-K.
Like our biases were in K. So, but we love them equally.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that time, because Growl was when they kind of got together. So
yes. And
Growl
that was
and
really fun, right? That was really a fun era also. But then, as we progress in our fangirling with EXO, it's not all fun.
Yeah. Also, the thing about EXO was, I started with Super Junior, Big Bang, but the first group I seriously stan, and I still stan, is SHINee. But the EXO fangirling that the three of us did, and I don't know if it's because it was the three of us, well, the four of us. We had another friend who was also like, who started it all, to be honest.
It's her fault.
Yeah. That was like intense.
Yeah, that was really
intense fangirling.
Like, this is the first group that I actually flied out with PDNIM and Dane to watch a concert of EXO.
Yeah.
And to me, that was actually, that was my second concert, but it was my first concert outside of the Philippines. For K-pop.
Yeah. And just also reading all the articles, like we were updated. We would see their airport photos, because like with SHINee, I think it wasn't that intense of just a following. Yeah, and I think the fandom was just also a very emotional fandom at the time, especially when everything sort of happened. So we were already fans when Chris left.
Yeah, it was a big blow for me.
Because
that was my first. EXO was my first K-pop group that I really stan, that I really followed. And then when Chris left, I remember our friend who started all of these things. He was her bias. Yeah. So she was a Chris fan, and she was really telling me how hurt she was, and then I couldn't also process. Like, I have questions like, did you really have to leave and all that stuff? It was shocking for me because I wasn't used to that. I mean, I also stan other Asian groups like Taiwan Pop and J-Pop and Mando Pop. But there's really no such scandals, like a member leaving a group or something like that. I mean, that basically doesn't exist in the groups that I stan back then.
And the concert that we had flown to Hong Kong to watch, which was the EXO concert, by then I think the news was pretty fresh that Chris had left. It was like soon after Chris had left, and it being Hong Kong,
Yeah.
they were very, they're very biased towards
Yeah.
Chris, and so they would show the MVs
Yeah, I
outside
remember
of the
that,
venue,
yeah.
and there would be like a
roar of fans.
yeah, like an
whenever,
audible
whenever,
collective sigh
Whenever Chris appears on the
MVs.
MVs, the fans would be really roaring and screaming that
Yeah.
supporting Chris.
Yeah,
Wow.
so we felt that, I guess.
So
and-
by the way,
yeah.
Dane, just to make the conversation light, who was
Yeah.
your EXO bias?
It was DO. That's the thing, like with Shiny and iKON, it's really hard for me to like with Shiny, I have a top one, but I almost love them all equally.
Yeah.
Same with iKON. But with EXO, there was a clear winner and it was DO. Followed by Baekhyun. Yeah. Well, who was yours?
Well, for me, oh my gosh, talagang big blow to sa akin. My EXO bias was Luhan.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you guys know
So
what
you know what happens next. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, we'll get to that part later.
Yeah. And yeah, to your point, Pao, like during that time, the biggest scandal that your idol could get into was actually a dating scandal.
Yeah.
I mean, second gen was kind of that way at the time. To that point, another sort of big blow.
Yeah, big blow to
was,
talaga kay V.
yeah, like,
Na-hurt talaga
like
siya.
honestly, the Chris one, I wasn't so hurt just because I think I felt where he was coming from, sort of. Like, I can understand when a person wants to leave a group. Like, to me, and I'm gonna eat my words just when it comes to iKON about this, but at the time, we knew that there were a lot of issues with
Yeah.
how, at least, there were speculations about how SM was managing EXO.
Yeah.
And there were
And also
already
the contract, right?
the contracts, and there were already speculations before that of how possibly Chris wanted out. There was a time that he was gone for a while, and fans were like, they called it Chris Watch. They were like, where is Chris? Like,
Yeah.
there were speculations he had flown to Canada for some reason. Like, so there were warning signs. It was a shock still, but it wasn't like, for me at least, it wasn't completely off left
Yeah.
field na it happened.
Oh, by the way, ako in general, I do have a thing for
Oh yeah, context.
people. In general, I mean, whether K-pop or in real life, I really have a thing for people na maalis.
Yeah.
I really feel bad. I don't know why. Medyo malalim yung hugot ko doon. Huwag na nating discuss. But yeah, I
Yeah.
feel bad whenever a person leaves, whether, leaving for another country or leaving for good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was really affected on the Chris issue.
Yeah. To me naman, I was always cognizant of the fact that EXO, being an idol, it's a job. I've always felt that, and like any job, you can sort of leave. Funnily
Yeah.
enough, that's not exactly how I feel about iKON right now. But that time, that was sort of where I was. And then for some reason, therefore, the Baekhyun Taeyeon dating news, when they sort of released pictures of them on a date, like, that was more shocking to me. Just cause nga, being a second gen fan, like, that was a big taboo
Yeah.
for second gen idols. Like, someone as big as Baekhyun from EXO and
Taeyeon,
Taeyeon
yeah.
dating, that was a big deal. Yeah, I think PD Nam and I actually went to find newspapers to have a drink after the news came out. So yeah, that was a pretty major...
She was really affected.
He's not, and he wasn't even like my top bias, but I'm like, I don't know, it was just a shock. And then after that, we were not done.
Yeah.
EXO was not done.
EXO, we stand EXO for quite a
Pretty
while.
long
right?
time. Yeah.
So the next issue with EXO was, I think, with Luhan. Ito talaga nasaktan talaga ako. doon. Although there were clues already.
Yes.
Because it was the same pattern. He was really missing.
Right.
Also.
Right.
And then fans were also speculating already that he's missing, so therefore there might be something going on.
And may precedent na eh.
Yeah.
So,
And then I remember there were news articles already, or at least rumors. Not news
Speculation.
articles really, but
Yeah.
rumors I was active in Tumblr back then.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah,
Tumblr
I was
is
sort of.
actually...
It's like how Twitter is now.
Yeah.
Sort of.
And the Tumblr was like the old Reddit.
Right.
If you want rumors,
Speculations,
theories,
yeah.
conspiracy theories,
Yeah.
Tumblr is actually the way
Yeah.
to go. I remember there was a Tumblr account for Luhan, and then They were saying that how he hated so much doing the activities because they had to fly a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's afraid of flying.
He's afraid of
And
flying.
he
He's
had to
afraid
take
of
the train one
heights.
time or something. Yeah.
And it was really tiring for him.
Oh man, yeah, I remember.
And
this.
then, yeah, I was a bit deadma of those because it's safe to say that I was also in denial that it's not gonna happen. I mean,
Yeah.
like all the brotherhood,
yeah.
etc., and the friendship that they built. But eventually, after a couple of months, the news broke that Luhan was also
Decided to leave.
yeah, he decided to leave EXO. And I remember like feeling angry also because there was an interview in which he said that he didn't want that life.
What life?
The idol life.
life.
And then for quite a while I was a bit disappointed that he said that. Or at least that, an article was released about that.
Yeah.
Because hello, he's an idol now in China. So it doesn't connect.
Yeah.
But then, I was an emotional fangirl. So I think the anger came about because, it was emotional.
We were very emotional fangirls when we were fangirling over EXO.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. The other scandal would be the Tao.
Then eventually Tao
Scandal.
also decided to leave.
Parang yun,
And by
na
then,
ako,
like,
numb
we're
na
numb.
ako.
Yeah.
And I think after when Tao left, that was the start of me tapping out of EXO.
Sort of, yeah, same.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that I still appreciate EXO until
Yeah.
today. I have a lot of EXO-Ls, friends.
Yeah, oh yeah, we do.
Yeah.
New ones as well.
And yeah, I don't know if it's safe to say that they are so fortunate that they didn't really experience the fandom ups and downs.
Well, they're going through a whole new batch of
Yeah.
sort of ups and downs now
Oo.
with EXO. So yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Like with the Kai Jenny and
Oh
then
yeah, like all the dating and all the
Yeah, the
army. I mean,
army
it's
and
around
this-
that time.
Yeah.
They're old enough to
Yeah.
go. So yeah, so I think the EXO, our experience with EXO, is a
Shaped
little
us.
shaped us. Yeah, and it is, I guess, the closest that we've had with sort of what's happening now. For
Yeah.
me, lang, the difference is, with the guys who left EXO, it was their choice. It
Yeah.
wasn't forced upon them
Yeah.
because of something that had been
Yeah.
revealed or something that had happened. Whereas now, it feels a lot like that. I mean, if the news hadn't been released by Dispatch, I feel like this maybe wouldn't happen. And I know there are many
Yeah.
theories as to why this happened, but I don't want to go into that now. And also, I think it's different for me because I think having seen iKON, as Team B going into mix and match, and them just being very open about their relationships with each other, I just feel that their brotherhood is really goes deep. It's not just something that they show on screen.
We have
you
seen
know.
them as trainees. Unlike
Yeah.
with EXO, we already saw them.
They're already
jaded.
packaged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're already debuted, and
Yeah.
it's not like we have a choice.
Yeah.
to pick who's who. But
Yeah.
but for iKON, we saw them during Win.
Yeah.
It was so raw, I guess.
Yeah, and there's something very genuine about, how we saw them before and just everything that they had been through, up to debut and until now.
Yeah.
That wasn't really shared with us with EXO just
Yeah.
because things were different in second gen. In second gen, you didn't really, especially with SM, you didn't see, there was always an image to sort of show, and you didn't see beyond that. Whereas I think with third gen, actually, I don't even know if EXO is a second gen group. They're like a borderline, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, groups now, groups that came after, they're a bit more willing to open up about their sort of lives behind the
I
stage,
guess because of the
screen.
the survival shows.
Yeah. So, I think Big Bang was the same way.
Yeah, but then it's
but-
not. The survival shows back then were not really big.
Yeah, exactly.
Unlike today, we have Produce 101 and then
Yeah. And social media just feeds on to sort of that content. And so I don't know if I'm gonna regret saying this in the future, but I really feel like I know iKON better than we kind of knew EXO, and that there's an there's just a rawness there and like an unfiltered sort of image of them that they've been sharing with the fans.
But then from the perspective of another friend whom I talked to like the past days, she told me that, you know, it's like you feel like you know them, but you don't really know them.
Yeah. So that's where I think, like, for me personally, I haven't come to that point yet where the news that has come out has sort of broken my perspective and my image of who the iKON boys are. Which is why I think I can kind of hold it together.
Yeah.
Is I still have faith in them. Like, yes, this happened. And I guess this harps back to, when I came to terms with, okay, how will I feel and, what will I do if, in the event that it's true, we're hoping it's not true, but in the event that it's true, how would I feel? And my answer is still, I would still support them. Because, I don't know, like, I feel like from what I've seen of them, they can move forward from this and they will stay together from, after this.
Yeah.
And talking about it now, I feel like, the fact is, he's left. Hanbin has left. His contract has been terminated. The 6 boys will move on to do the Japan tour.
Well, at least that's what...
For now, they're gonna go on with their
published.
Japan tour without Hanbin. We are gonna watch.
We don't know what will happen, to be honest.
Yeah, but from what we know now, I don't know why I still have faith that they'll still be together some way, somehow in the future. So my faith in them hasn't wavered. To be honest, I'm worried that I hope that no other news report comes out to make me sort of have to not have that faith anymore, which is exactly what your friend had sort of warned you about.
Yeah, actually the Showels reminded me that, actually not only the Showels, I should make a shout out to a friend who's also a VIP.
Yeah.
She told me that, you just expect for the worst but hope for the best.
Yeah.
At the same time, it will be, digging up on the issue would make it more cruel.
Yeah.
And you just have to be ready, you have to be strong and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like I think I've come up with sort of my worst case scenarios. And I've come to terms with how I would react if those things happen. But in my head, if I were Doctor Strange in Endgame, looking at all the possibilities, there is so far there is no situation or news report that will make me waver. That's possible to happen. So for me, like, I would still support them so far from what I perceive might happen from this.
And to be honest,
I hope I'm right. If I'm being honest, I hope I'm right.
And so to be honest, on my end, before I became an iconic, I was also a hardcore Showel. I think me and Dane, both, we're hardcore.
Still
Showels. Of course. And standing shiny is also a different ballgame
So
for
that's
us.
and I think that's, to me, I owe a lot of how we reacted right now to what we had gone through with Shiny.
So for Shiny, it was actually a pretty chill-ish.
Yeah, for a long-standing group,
because also the fandom is very close to each other, like tightly knit in a way.
Yeah.
Very friendly fandom,
Yeah.
and
It's also like relatively small, for example, compared to like EXO's fandom.
Kasi
which was
legit,
huge.
like Shiny is like part of the second gen.
Yeah.
EXO kasi is towards the
Like in between.
Second and third.
Yeah.
So it's the vibe of the age group also of the XOLs versus Showels are quite different. And I think it's safe to say that the age bracket of Showels is actually Din and my age.
Yeah.
So, but then even standing Shiny have not so fun moment.
Yeah, that was, oh gosh, like,
especially for Dane, because you stand Shiny first than I.
Yeah,
did,
2009.
right?
And so, and I remember just us having a conversation of, all the groups in SM had already they had members leaving. Shiny was intact. Oh my gosh, I don't want to cry. Shiny was intact. They were together. And so
I remember there were tweets about prayer circle for SHINee.
yeah,
because
because like when the EXO news came out that
and even the
these members
Suju.
related,
and
Girls'
Girls'
Generation, that was the
and
other
like
one.
the only
Even
the
SX.
last group standing in SM was
SHINee.
NCT and
They were still
Red
like
Velvet were
starting,
still,
like starting out.
starting.
Yeah.
So,
The only sort of big sort of scandals that happened early on in the SHINee days were the dating scandal again of Jonghyun, which I remember was pretty major. Although, like, I know a lot of people didn't take it well as well. I think the girl had to shut down her social media.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it was Instagram already. I think it might have been Me Today or something.
and there were public pictures of him and Shin Seokyo.
Yeah. So that was kind of the big thing, but I think people got over it quite quickly. And there was the thing of Onyu sort of being caught showing the middle finger to, I don't know, one of the other guys during a radio show.
At nasaktan talaga si Dindon because si Onyu
He's my bias. He's my bias. I like guys who sing really well. If it's not obvious yet. Yeah, but that was again like he had to apologize, I think, and then it was fine.
But then like the Onyu middle finger scandal was not even a very big
it was
issue
in the grand scheme of things.
It's not. It's just like people will forgive him because other people.
We all do it.
I mean, come on.
I think when it became really kind of serious with SHINee was in 2017. So Onyu had that. He had gotten really drunk in a club, and there were allegations of sexual harassment that were eventually dropped, I believe. But by then, like he had to take a break.
It was a pretty long break, right?
Yeah, and it was shocking because by then they were doing so well. They had been doing so well already.
I think they during that time they just finished, I think, a Japan concert.
Yeah.
And then we were so scared also because 2018 is their 10th year.
Right.
So we were thinking na, oh no, are they gonna like skip the 10th year anniversary because of this big scandal?
Yeah.
Because of course sexual harassment is not a joke.
Yeah, for sure.
And we were a bit worried about that.
And Onyu was already of the age that he could actually realistically go to the army, and so that's another thing.
He was turning.
He's
30?
born 89.
Yeah, he was turning 29 or 30 in age.
Yeah, so he's very close to enlistment. And Pao and I had not seen them. No, we'd already seen them together, but not in a concert on their own lang. I mean, I'd seen them. I saw SHINee World 1 on my own, but Pao and I had only seen them in the concert in the Philippines.
Yeah. Like, I think the same year, we both saw them in 1K concert here in the Philippines. I think that was March 2017.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, I think I'm gonna cry. To be honest, that was my first shocks. I really feel like sayang yung moment ko. Pero that was my first SHINee quote-unquote concert.
Right.
Because Dean saw them
2010
in
Singapore. Yeah.
I wasn't really...
At the advice of a friend who was just being... Because I was like, oh, they're gonna have a concert in 2010. It's their first tour. My friend was like, oh, you should go na. Baka mag-disband na sila. I'm like, no, they won't. But in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go na. You never know. And I'm really thankful that I flew in for a weekend. And it was my birthday, I think. It was the day before. My birthday was Friday. My friends at work threw a party for me, and I didn't know. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have a flight the next day, like 5 a.m. But I survived. It's fine. But yeah, and I was alone. It was my first K-pop concert outside of Manila.
And they were complete, right?
They were complete.
What year was that?
2010. Sherlock.
And I think Sherlock.
It might have been 2011 actually, or 2012. Yeah, 2011 I think. Yeah. So, but anyway.
Was that SHINee World 2?
It was one.
No freaking
Dude, it
way!
was one.
Oh my gosh, ngayon ko lang to nalalaman.
It was one. Mino was so payat. You know, he wasn't his like, I mean, he showed his abs. I love that ito yung naalala ko, diba? He showed his abs, pero parang he was so skinny. They looked they looked super young pa. Yeah. So,
Nice.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
It was
Yeah,
Shiny
thanks for
World
the
1.
info.
It was Shiny World 1.
And then, I think you saw them twice, right?
So yeah, PD Nem and I saw them in the Philippines for another one of those joined up concerts.
Oh,
So-
I was there, but I was outside.
Because you weren't like a super fan yet.
Yeah.
We actually had gone to watch XOK.
And
then.
Shiny was there.
And Shiny happened to be there as well. So we're like,
Minho was not there.
Mino
right?
wasn't there because he had to host
An event.
music corps or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that
yeah.
was twice for Dane.
And then that
And
third
then,
time.
Yeah, the third time was the 2017 also collective concert of different groups.
Yeah.
Well, for me, like what I said, 2017, the collective concert was my first time to see Shiny. And to be honest, oh my gosh, naiyak na ako. And to be honest, I was telling Damien, sabi ko, okay, I'm really sold out, like, watching
We
them.
have to fly again
We
to
have
watch
to fly. Like, by hook or by crook, I will fly out to
Yeah.
see them live. And I didn't really think that it's the, oh my gosh, naiyak ako.
And there were so many, oh man, there were so many concerts that we were thinking, oh, let's fly to Thailand. But something happened, I don't know. We were fun employed this year also. I guess it didn't help. So you're like, nah, let's wait for another day.
Yeah,
We
and I'm
can't.
pretty sure, like, I was telling
There
David,
was
I'm pretty sure there's gonna be another leg. Like,
That's more
I think
realistic.
we're waiting for the Singapore leg. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's like the most realistic.
Yeah, because we had gone to Singapore
Yeah.
concerts before, and it's like, yeah, just the easiest to manage.
And we wanted to also hear them
Speaking
speak in
English,
English.
yeah.
Because the probability of Shiny speaking in English would be definitely
In Singapore, yeah. So
Yeah. Like, after the Onyu incident, I was scared that they won't bounce back. But, I had hope because I'm pretty sure, like, Onyu, with the personality of Onyu, I know that they will be able to, like, get themselves together again.
Yeah.
But they just need time.
yeah,
And then I was also hopeful because they're about to celebrate the 10th anniversary. So
Yes.
I was thinking, like, oh, the 10th anniversary concert will be a very big
Big deal.
celebration.
Yeah.
And Dane and I were saying that, maybe we can catch them, like, in Seoul.
for the 10th anniversary.
2017 was very eventful. That's also the first time that I flew into Seoul. So I was really hopeful that the following year would be more colorful as a shawl.
Yeah.
And then, oh my gosh, I don't know how to proceed with this, but I think the biggest blow to me and to Dane, to be honest, was when Jonghyun left for good.
Yeah.
I remember it was really emotional for me. Like, not emotional na, na parang bukas wala na to. Hindi. For me, it took me a while to really come to terms with the fact that he's already gone. And it was so difficult to the point that I had to really get away from Twitter for a while. Tumblr. I had to close down my Tumblr. I remember, because Tumblr was also so emotional back then. I remember buying the season's greetings for 2018, and I couldn't even, until now, I haven't really opened it.
Yeah.
I don't know how it looks like. I don't know. Like, it was, siguro, for me, it was really traumatizing. And by the way, the reason why I reacted that way, Jonghyun was my bias.
Yeah.
So I was really a blinger. So I was a blinger.
Yeah.
And then a while ago, before we started this recording, we were recalling about, where was I?
Yeah.
Where were we
When
during
you're
that
in
time? And I remember receiving a Viber message from a friend in Korea saying that, hey pal, don't be shocked because there's this news going around and I don't know if this is real. So she connected me to a news portal. And the news portal was all in Hangul.
Yeah.
I can read Hangul, I can understand some, but I was so slow. And when I saw the news about Kim Jong-un passing away, I was really shaking that bad that I couldn't even type how I feel about it. I just had to ask Idinim and Dean to, can you please check if this is real?
Yeah.
And then I think after that, everything is a blur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the finality of when the news broke, and it was kind of like a lot of news outfits were reporting it simultaneously, and so they just didn't feel like there was a way that it wasn't true.
And the same thing that I dealt with, the news with Hanbin now. At first, I was really in denial back then. Jonghyun also. I was part of that Shaul group who would actually, say that maybe he's just in the emergency room trying to, they're still trying to revive him of some sort. And then I was totally in denial until the following day that, people were really saying that he's really gone, and there were evidences of suicide.
Yeah.
Also apparent suicide. Because they saw the paraphernalias back in the apartment that he rented, and it was really painful. And we were saying that to each other that it was surreal, diba? Na parang you can't grasp that he's really not here anymore.
I did not think it would affect me as much. I mean, because we hear about musicians sort of passing away,
Kurt Cobain.
Yeah. Well, I was too young to sort of understand the whole Kurt Cobain thing, but like Amy Winehouse was sort of a big one for me, but it wasn't emotional. It was a shock. But I think with Jonghyun, I felt it on like a personal level, which I didn't expect as well, and which is why I was so shaken up. I couldn't function, and I was really crying. And again, it went back to, I don't even know him. I don't know him personally, but I feel this horrible. And it took me a while to sort of come to terms with that it's okay to feel this way even if you don't know this person personally.
Actually, another thing that entered my mind back then was, so how did the SHINee members...
That was another thing.
Reacted, or how did they feel? Where were they when it happened? And were they together or something like that?
Yeah.
So, and we all know that, of course, the SHINee members and even their family are
pretty close.
Family,
as well.
So
I think that the realization that hit me the most then was, I never realized. I mean, I didn't think about Donghyun that much. He wasn't my bias. I liked them in variety shows, but then after that happened, I just realized that, I guess in the back of my head, I always kind of imagined that, he would be making his music, producing in his studio. And to realize finally that won't happen anymore, and he's just not there anymore, the finality of it really hit me. And to be so young as well, and to have so much potential. Yeah. He had come out of promoting, right?
Yeah.
He had released...
Actually, what really hit me back then was we came to Korea November, last week of November 2017.
So
and then I was actually debating if I should go back because he had a concert second week of December.
Yeah.
And then I was telling our friends, like Dinam and Dane, that I want to go, but I don't have any cash anymore.
It was close to your birthday.
And it was also close to my birthday. So I was really debating, but when you don't have cash anymore, you can't fly. So, and then I have to say that I think that's one of my regrets also. Siguro kung pwede namang maghirap, di ba? Kikitain ko rin naman yung pera. Pero di ko ginawa. So I'm thinking that if I was there, how would I feel? Would I feel more regretful or less regretful?
Yeah.
And at the same time, I remember talking to one Shawal. She said that, you don't know how it felt, how it feels to actually line up for his concert and then a week after lining up for his funeral.
Yeah.
It was really a very shocking, emotional blur. I don't know how will you describe it, but it was really a rocky time for Shawals.
Yeah.
And for me personally.
Yeah, same. And that was when, I think after that, I really distanced myself from K-pop for a bit, just because it it wasn't the same. And yeah, and I couldn't listen to their songs,
I couldn't watch
their
any
MVs,
of their-
especially their variety shows. I really just couldn't.
I remember
yeah.
purchasing Poet Artist, the posthumous album of Jung, and then I couldn't really get myself to open it.
Yeah.
And it was really horrible. Like,
Yeah.
you know how it feels like, I'm in the merch lady. So, getting merch would be such a joy for me, collecting all the merches,
Yeah.
the albums. And then, when I received that album, I couldn't even get it out of the
Yeah.
wrapper.
Yeah. I think the only time I really considered to sort of get back into the fandom, even for a little bit, was to support them,
Yeah.
the remaining 4, in their Japan concerts, which they had decided they would push through. But we knew that the demand would be so high and it'd be difficult to get tickets, and we weren't active on Stan Twitter, so we had no way to know how to go about it.
Yeah.
So we decided not to. But I do recall sort of looking at fan cams, checking Twitter on the day that it was happening.
I remember those 2 days yun
Yeah,
eh. 2
yeah.
days yung concert. And I had to go on Mixler to
This-
listen.
yeah.
A
The
couple
stream.
of Shawel friends actually went to both days.
Mm-hmm.
And they were kind enough to go on Mixler, and yeah, I don't know if that's illegal. Maybe it is. It is actually. But
Yeah.
then, for someone who can't be there, and I just want to know if they're
Yeah.
okay, if they can push the concert throughout. It was really meaningful, and I was really thankful. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I was really hurt. I
It was-
hear fans crying in the
And
background.
even the 4 of them were like crying, calling his name. So yeah, but then after that, I mean, really took a break from sort of K-pop fangirling, and I really I think I only started listening to shiny songs again without wanting to cry this year, to be honest, and watching their MVs. I haven't gotten to sort of the variety shows
Yeah.
yet. I'll work my way up to that. But yeah, that was pretty tough.
For me, I think I was able to listen earlier than Dane.
Yeah.
But the blow to me naman is that I couldn't really sleep well.
Oh yeah.
That's the worst thing, I think. That's the worst possible reaction. Na hindi ako makatulog talaga. And I really struggled with my sleeping patterns. At the same time, I couldn't get to talk about it. So parang, yun nga, kasi nga surreal talaga eh.
Yeah.
Parang, I just can't with shiny.
Yeah, yeah. It was tough.
It was really tough.
When they came back for their 10th anniversary, I mean, I watched the videos, sort of played the music on Spotify. When they came back, it was easier to see the 4 of them. I could do it. What I couldn't do was watch the 5 of them, like the old shows.
Actually, yeah.
I haven't-
Kaya kong panoorin
Yeah.
yung bagong MVs nila.
Pero the old ones, di talaga.
It
I
took
mean,
me a while.
Yeah, I love Hello Baby. I haven't seen it since.
I haven't seen
I
Hello
haven't.
Baby.
I haven't. I just can't get myself to.
I
see
haven't
it now.
seen One Fine Day also.
Same.
I get to watch their variety shows. Like clips, but not the whole variety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I used to before, when I was bored or I didn't have anything to watch on YouTube,
Yeah,
I would just keep them on loop because they were so
Yeah.
funny. Their variety shows are hilarious. Maybe I'll try it. I'll try for growth and for healing. I will try this year. But yeah, suffice to say that I think that was the lowest point of my fangirling.
Mine
Understandably so. And it really puts things in perspective, I guess. 'Cause I can't imagine anything worse than that, honestly, for a fangirl.
That's basically what shaped our reaction
Yeah.
for what happened the past few days.
Yeah.
And we're not saying that you should have the same reaction as ours.
Yeah. Or that this is,
The
not
best way to cope.
Yeah. And also that, what's happening now is less horrible than, the things that happened before.
iKON's scandal is horrible.
Yeah, I mean, grief is relative. And if I understand, if this is the first time you're going through this and they're the first group that you stand and really committed to,
Yeah.
I mean, it can really
Yeah.
feel like the world is over.
Yeah.
Those are valid feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that I'm right, but I'm still hopeful.
For me, my stand here is that, okay, I'm not going to try to overanalyze it. I think yun din
yes.
Parang ayoko siyang i-overanalyze. I don't want to like play detective. If you play detective, you're bound to see something that you might question.
Yeah.
Like, so is this real or not?
Yeah.
So the best way is to just go with the flow for the meantime.
Yeah.
If you can't go to Stan Twitter, or if you can't view their videos, or if you can't like just you break down if you see Hanbin's photo, just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
give
if you
yourself a
can't
break.
keep up with the news because it's too painful to listen to,
Yeah.
don't even try. It's fine.
Yeah. One of the realizations also is that fangirling is painful at times.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be an escape for real life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it has its own dark side.
Yeah. As with everything, I suppose. It's not a fairy tale.
Yeah, definitely not.
And there are things that will upset you, that will turn out not the way you expected, that will just shatter sort of your perspective. And I think that's always the most sort of painful thing, is when you expect something of someone and realize either that they're not who they were, or that, something like this happened. I think the reason why I'm not so broken is because I can accept that this happened, but I still have faith in the boys.
And we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
Just in case, like, if this events progress into something worse, we should always remember that they are humans too. I mean, we should also be forgiving. If later on, let's say, you find yourself, you don't want to stay in the fandom, that's also valid.
Very valid.
You shouldn't feel like you'll be judged for it.
Take it one day at a time and see how you feel about it one day at a time.
Yes.
Because you can also change how you feel, as things progress. That's totally valid. You can have hope one day and lose all that hope the next. I mean, like, hopefully it doesn't happen. I said hope a lot in that sentence. But it's a roller coaster. That's life,
Just expect for the worst and hope for the best.
Yeah.
I think that strikes the balance
Yeah.
to just keep your sanity intact.
Yeah, that's how I am in life too, now that I think about it. But strangely, I feel like I'm a positive person, but I think the way I'm positive is, if the worst thing happens, I know how I'd want to survive it. And that's how I remain positive, is, okay, like, the worst thing can happen, but I can overcome it. And except for, I think, the thing with Donghyuk and Chanwoo was, there was no scenario where, in my head, that would happen.
It wasn't an option.
It wasn't an option.
That wasn't part of the whole equation back then.
It wasn't a worst case scenario that I
Yeah.
recognized. And I think that's why I was just shattered about it. But I think here, it helps to sort of come to terms with, what are you willing to deal with and to accept and to bear?
Yeah.
And sort of just being true to that. If you can't stand that for a little while, and I
it's
say this
okay.
because I'm hopeful, like, parang it's fine.
If you need to take a break, it's fine.
I think it's important to be a little selfish as a fangirl and care about
Self-care
yourself.
is always your first priority.
That's the first priority. And I mean, because at the end of the day, we fangirl for ourselves as well. I mean, of course, we support, our favorite idols, but at the end of the day, I think it's also because we enjoy seeing them perform, whatever. So you can't lose sight of that.
For me, if you need to talk to people that would understand more of your situation, why not? I mean, it's okay to open up to other people as well. You'll be surprised. Actually, in my case, when this news broke out, the first people, surprised nga rin ako na hindi sila din yung una kong nilapitan. I guess because I know that they're also affected, so I need a perspective of someone who's not affected.
Yeah.
So that's when I sought the attention of my Shawol friends in my other Stan Twitter account. I was reminded that, this is not the worst thing that can happen for iKON. There are far more worse things that can happen in life. But at the same time, that gives me hope that, okay, they're not in the worst case scenario yet. So that means that's actually a brighter situation. And at the same time, it's sad, no? It's really sad, but the Jonghyun incident really shaped my fangirl life. Yun nga, mahirap talaga. You're on that part where your bias is really the one that is in the center of the news. It really shaped me a lot, and it helped me bounce back. That's my takeaway, and that's how I cope in this situation. It really felt good, to be honest. Like seeing a perspective from someone outside of the box. Someone who doesn't stand iKON. I don't regret standing iKON at all. I don't regret standing SHINee or EXO. I don't regret becoming a fangirl.
yeah.
There's no such thing. Kasi, I mean, come on. I mean,
We wouldn't be
it's
friends,
fun.
you and I, if we weren't fangirls. If we're
That's
being
true.
honest. That's how we met. So,
And yeah, if you have listened to our previous episodes, we have been like, going to different trips.
yeah.
And the previous trip that we had in Seoul, it was actually iKON themed.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't be having that much fun if,
Yeah.
we're not fangirls. So definitely not regretting having this fangirl life.
yeah. For me, like what's keeping me together in this whole thing is my faith in the iKON members. Like I just know that they will pull through together somehow. I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know in what way, but I just really have this, like that is the foundation of my iKON belief system, is I know that they, like the 7 of them have a special relationship and they will pull through.
Yeah.
Because they've gone through difficult times.
Together.
Yeah, and you don't get out of that not being stronger. But at the same time, like you, Bao, I try not to dwell into it. I try not to speculate,
Yeah.
think about the
I
possibilities.
think we're done in our
Yeah,
fangirl
yeah.
life. We're already done doing the
Like,
detective,
so-
the
yeah.
conspiracy theorist
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
fangirling lifestyle.
We were heavy on that, on the XO thing, I think. And yeah, eventually,
Yeah.
like that just was, that
not
made it more dramatic.
healthy.
Like, yeah, that was the cause of sort of our drama then.
To put it really bluntly, it wasn't healthy for our mental health
Yeah,
also.
yeah. But I mean, I think some people maybe gain comfort from that. But I think just from my experience, it's
I mean,
not.
we're speaking for ourselves.
Yeah. Like it's not. It wasn't helpful for me to sort of dwell and look at all sort of the nooks and crannies and find something that might bother me. So I also avoid sort of triggering content like that.
I also learned that.
Like you don't have to know everything.
Ang bilis ko na mag-tap out ngayon.
Yeah.
If I feel like I know that, it's tickling my bad side
Yeah.
and the mental health issue, I tap out.
But that's not to say that you will fully deny sort of
Yeah.
the truth, or
Yeah.
when something in your face is true, like you have to come to terms with
Yeah.
it. But when something isn't, don't dwell on it.
And don't investigate as if
I mean,
you are
yeah,
an
yeah,
expert
yeah.
about it.
Of course, easier said than done. Because honestly, the thing that muddles all of this whole thing is what is true and what is not.
Yeah.
And that is sort of the big question. But I think, you can tap out of that sort of discussion as well.
Yeah.
So ultimately, allowing yourself an escape, getting off social media, stand Twitter if you can't handle it anymore.
Find
I think
another
that helps.
outlet.
Yeah.
My case, I was productive.
Good for you.
I was productive at work. I mean, I finished a lot. And kasi nga, I avoided stan Twitter. So
Yeah.
technically, I wasn't really actively checking all the news and all the reactions.
Yeah.
I deliberately tapped out and focused myself on something that I know that I would be more
Yeah.
productive on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in my case, it was really working my ass
Yeah.
off.
I think you did better at that than me. like June 12th, I said I was gonna keep editing my book, my story, but I didn't do that. Today we're in virology again, and we're with PD Nim and our other friend actually for some, I guess, non-iKON related discussions later on.
Just catching up.
Catching up, yeah.
Catching up with real life.
With real life, yeah. So I think that's going to be helpful. But I have to say though that while I was trying to get off Stan Twitter, I kept to my DMs because there were a lot of people who, my mutuals, and even people who aren't in the fandom who were just sending messages of hang in there, supportive. Like it was really nice as well. So take what you feel is beneficial to you and only sort of latch on to what is true or the truth, which I know is easier said than done. But yeah, it's a good principle to have.
We're actually hopeful to watch them or to catch them in Osaka.
Yeah, we already have tickets to
for the iKON
In
Japan tour
so
this year.
Yeah, in September.
We bought them before the news broke
Yeah.
out. And I can say that we didn't even have a discussion if we're going or not. I mean, we're still going.
Yeah.
We're still going whether Hanbin is there or Hanbin will not be there. We just want to be there to support also the boys.
And of course, I think it's also a sort of contested issue of do you go or do you not
Yeah.
go? Do you boycott? I think everyone sort of is entitled to their own sort of decision on that. But I think the three of us have decided we're going. We don't have flights yet.
Me,
but-
Dane, and Edinim will
Yeah.
definitely be there.
Yeah. So, yeah, and we'll see what happens then. I mean, it feels like a long ways away now, honestly, and it's hard to tell what will happen moving forward.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Ako personally, I will really support them still,
same.
especially for the other 6. And even for Hanbin.
For sure, all of them, all 7 of them.
All
Honest,
7 of them.
I mean, yeah, in my head, there's still 7 of them.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's gonna change that. So yeah. But of course, we'll be vigilant of the news and see what happens without it affecting our mental health. So
Yeah.
a healthy sort of detachment to
Siguro,
whatever will come out.
Yung pinaka-usapan lang namin tatlo dito, we're not going to view any videos
Oh, yeah.
of the upcoming Japan leg. We just want it to be genuine for us when we go to Osaka.
Yeah, and spoiler free.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you see us be quiet about the concerts from July, it's because we don't want to be spoiled and we just want to experience it without knowing what happens.
And we're hopeful. Like, Dane and I are hopeful that we can go and record an episode also in Japan.
Yeah,
right?
let's do that. With
So,
PD Nim.
Yeah, with PD Nim.
She's
Hopefully
gonna be there
soon,
anyway,
Yeah.
so.
PD Nim will reveal herself.
Yeah. If you need anyone to talk to, again, if you're dealing with something, we'll post some helpful links on the show notes.
And do reach out to us.
Our DMs are open.
Our DMs are open. You can tweet us. You can publicly reach out to us, and we'll try to be accommodating.
Yeah.
Especially now in these trying times, we're really
It helps
we
to
really
talk to
know,
someone.
that
Yeah.
it really helps to have a support group.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
Thank you for listening to this episode. And yeah, we'll see you for hopefully much more happy and fun episode moving forward.
And just in case that there would be any news that breaks out after this recording, we're just hopeful that, you stay strong and, all this for iKON.
Yeah.
So that's it. We'll see you again on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.